Hi, I'm Lorraine, and Wade is behind the camera, and we are on the off-ramp. And in this special episode, you're going to be joining us with an interview with our friends Val and Sean as we met up with them in Florida. They do snowbirding in a very different way than Wade and I do. We jump in our van, we drove around exploring. Val and Sean have parked their RV in Florida and do snowbirding that way. We want you to watch this, but don't just watch. Leave a comment for any questions you might have, or for those of you who have done this snowbirding lifestyle, tell us some tips that you have or reasons why you like doing the way you travel as you go south. So we often see on RV Facebook pages people talking about how to be a snowbird and where to go. So as a Canadian, we love to get south somewhere to be warmer. So we are with our friends Sean and Val, and we've known them for many years, and they have a place here in Florida. So here we are with them to talk a little bit about the way they do snowbirding. So as you know, Wade and I travel around in our van, try to find different ways to see things and do things and kind of live from day to day, driving from one spot to the next. Val and Sean do snowbirding in quite a different way. So we'd like to know from them, for those of you who are thinking of doing snowbirding in Florida, how long have you been doing this, where you've come to a park? That's what they do. They come to a park and they stay here. For how many years have you guys been doing this whole snowbird in a park thing?
It's been about 9 or 10 years, right?
Yep.
Oh, that long?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't
This
realize
is the
that.
third park that we're in now.
Third park.
Yeah.
In Florida.
Sorry, in Florida, yes.
Yeah. We started. Our first year down in the U.S. was in 2008.
Oh.
That was in Texas, and then we did that for 1 year, I think, and then we opened the bakery. Remember?
Oh, yeah,
And so
yeah.
we didn't do it for a few years.
No, that tied you down a little.
Yeah. So,
I see.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that you did some snowbirding in Texas. So when you say that, how long were you in Texas? For how much time? Because you weren't retired then yet,
no,
technically.
that was maybe 2.5, 3 months.
At a time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's pretty
That,
good.
and it was only the 1 year.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was just 1 year.
And
Yeah.
Where in Texas did you do that?
Brownsville.
So that's like straight south and you're there.
Straight south, yeah.
So then what made you come to Florida?
Well, we kind of figured that the climate would be more conducive to spending, especially for the whole winter.
Mostly the climate, and it was green. Like in Texas, it
Yeah.
was quite windy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
found it was okay. Arizona was quite brown. I mean, except for the golf courses, and so we
So
had
you like
been
the
to
green,
Florida.
the lushness of this.
Yeah.
What about the humidity? Well, our friends that we were
It's
traveling
bad
with,
for him.
yeah, our friends that we were traveling with just now said, "This is like being in Manitoba, humid, windy, hot." You know?
Yeah.
So she found the humidity cumbersome. She didn't love the humidity aspect of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, it's not that pleasant, but so many other things that are really good about being here, and
outweighs it.
yeah, exactly.
And you arrive in Florida what time?
Usually about the middle of November.
And then do you go back to Manitoba in between?
We usually do, something that's not necessarily right over Christmas, but in the New Year, then we usually try and go home for a week or so.
Connect with family and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So your total amount of time that you're gone is what? That you're here in Florida, sorry.
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, just under 5 months.
Yeah.
Because we'll leave for, early April to come back.
How does that affect? Does that affect anything with like special insurance, nothing like that?
Well, insurance. If you come back once, then your insurance is a little bit less.
Oh yeah.
But the last two years, because of COVID, we stayed here the whole winter, so then the insurance was quite a bit more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't go back.
But we really, really like to go back.
You do like to.
Oh, yeah.
And in terms of insurance, have you ever needed any medical care while you've been doing this? While you've been snowbirding?
Yeah, this winter actually.
Yes,
Oh, really?
first time. Yeah, I had a really bad sciatica. So
Oh,
I was
yeah.
down for like 6 weeks, and so
It's a scary time.
Went to a doctor 3 times here, but it didn't use insurance because the deductible was so high, and it wasn't that much. It was only $60 a visit, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
And just got some meds, and he just watched me,
And healed.
I still did everything that I normally do because nothing bothered me except sitting. So that was great.
Oh.
We didn't sit. We'd play pickleball. We'd walk. I'd bike. Nothing bothered me. but just couldn't sit in the evenings. You know, he'd had to get up and walk around.
And it wasn't hard to find a doctor who would see you?
No, it wasn't hard because we have friends here, and then you just ask around, like, who's a good doctor, and it's pretty easy to find one.
That was actually very quick.
Yeah.
Like I think we contacted him within 2 or 3 days, get an appointment. And
Yep.
Well, so tell me a little bit more about the whole friends thing. Like, when you say friends, are these people you think you keep in touch with a long term, or how does this, what do the friendships feel like that are here when you come just for the summer, right? Or I'm sorry, for the winter. I think about us when we used to do it at the lake and it would be just summer.
Right.
And they were summer people.
Yes.
But
yeah, the winter camps, friends.
yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's kind of the same way. Like we really enjoyed the friendships that we've made, and yeah, we've got some really good neighbors here too. So
Well, that's a good thing, because in a place that's close proximity, I don't know, what would you do if you had a neighbor that you weren't sure you wanted to stay parked next to? Like,
Yeah,
what would you do
well,
about that?
yeah, I don't know.
Hasn't happened?
I guess if there was another spot in the park, you could move, but no, it hasn't happened. No. And we have, when we moved to this park, this is our third park in Florida. The first park was a little further north, just outside of Orlando.
Oh,
and our
okay.
our hose froze 2 times that winter. So we said, "No, we're not far enough south." So we went down about just an hour and a bit north of Miami, and we were there for like 4 or 5 years. And we made some really good friends there. And then they sold the park, and the management changed, and everything just went south.
Yeah.
Literally. So we decided to find another park. So our neighbors found this park, and so there was 4 couples. We all moved here, and we all like it, and so
That's great.
that's where we stayed. Yeah. And they're still
So,
here.
how many Canadians, friends, family do you have coming to visit you while you've been here? People from elsewhere, like from back home, do you have stopping by?
Mostly it's been family that's come.
And really good friends like us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah. So, and you have family coming in a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's more family. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
actually had our whole
Oh,
family.
yeah, that's
There were
right. You had
17 of us.
all your kids.
Yeah,
S-
kids
Tell them
and-
what you did with your 17 family members, your
Oh,
own
yeah.
family.
We did theme parks, lots of time spent in the pool, fabulous friend time.
Yeah.
Our cousins, they just,
Your grandkids all got to know each other and play together. And,
yeah.
well, you were saying earlier that there was a house that you rented,
Yeah.
and that fit all of you. So how cool is that? That is a memory maker for your grandkids, hey?
for sure, yeah.
So
And
nice.
for grandma and grandpa too.
So is there anything about this lifestyle that you would want different? What is about your snowbirding thing that you'd like to change? Or do you ever get bored?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Because I'm still working kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
part-time, and this winter hasn't been as busy as last winter, and that's fine. But I find that, we usually walk in the morning, or I'll play pickleball first for an hour, hour and a half, and then we'll either go for a walk, or I'll go for a bike ride, and then we'll have lunch, and then, yeah. What we would change here probably the most is have a later supper than all these our friends. Yeah. We go out a lot.
Okay.
But the worst part about going out around here is we always go to buffets, and some of them are good, and some of them
are
are
not.
so good.
Yeah.
But it's a good meeting place.
Yeah.
And then
Friends
we get
hang
together,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With other people from
Yeah.
parks in the past, and so it's been good.
Well, we've experienced like this, like it gets dark so early, so I can see why people are used to having supper at 4:30 or 5, but it feels too early.
Yeah,
So even now while we were camping with friends, sometimes we'd only get back to our campsite and then it's dark, and now we're trying to barbecue our steaks in the dark. I mean, we have
Yeah.
lots of lamps and stuff like that, but so I don't know if that is something to get used to, is how dark it is, how early it is. Like you just think it feels like summer and the sun should be going down a little later.
Yeah.
So is there any point that you just kind of grabbed this camper you leave here, is that right?
Yes.
Did you ever drive one around and do the whole touring around and camping in different places
We have, for the most part, yeah. We just find it just seems to make more sense to,
to stay put?
yeah.
Well, before we bought this one and left it here, we would do lots of camping in the summertime.
Yes, that's
and,
right.
And drive around, and that was fine. But we were finding with this, campers were getting bigger, and the sites weren't keeping up.
Yeah.
The campgrounds weren't keeping up with us, so we would just try to find a place where we can just keep it, and they'd have a pool and amenities and stuff there, and we'd just bring our grandkids over, and it would just be kind of a summer place for them to come. And now in the winter it's kind of the same thing. We drive down here, and it's
Ready.
for us it's 3,300 kilometers.
Ooh, yeah.
And that takes a toll on a camper after a few years.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the drive; that was okay. The weather is not always great, but
Yeah.
it just took a toll on the camper after a while. So we just decided to have one here, and just leave it here all winter.
So would you ever switch from this to doing a park model? Have you looked at the park model option, and would you do that instead of having the fifth wheel or the camper?
No, I don't think we would ever consider that.
No?
We have talked about it. In this particular park here, there are quite a few, but they're very dated.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Wade and I had talked about it earlier. Like there's just too many rules and stuff. You don't own your site. You just pay
Yeah.
rent, and they can change. They can change the rules on you all the time. If we did ever think of buying one, we would buy one where we would own the land.
Oh, yeah.
In the park, and you pay your amenities, also, but you would own the land, and then you would have a board, and everybody would have a say in the matter. Now we have absolutely no say in how the park is run, and
So it's not like a condo then?
no, and if you like the way it's run, fine. If you don't, you just hook up a truck and pull your camper out.
Take your, oh yeah, that's true. A camper's a little easier to move on.
Yeah.
Right?
And if you have a park model, it's more permanent.
Yeah. So what would be your advice to anybody who wanted to snowbird the way you are? Like, what kind of things should they look for in a park? How should they make the decision to do a snowboard? How long is a good time to stay? Do you have any advice for people out there that do this kind of, snowbirding in Florida?
Well, I mean, Canadian snowbirds and American snowbirds would be two different.
Let's think the Canadian route then.
Canadians, yeah. So it all depends how long you're allowed. You're able to stay away, but a lot of people have to get back early because they have to do their taxes and stuff like that. They can't stay as long as maybe they would like to. Go home before it's when it's still cold in Canada. So that's one drawback if you're limited to your time that you can stay. It all depends what you like. If you like park with if you like swimming, if you like to be close to the beach, the closer you are to the beach or the ocean, the more the higher the cost is.
Oh, is that true? So the more you are at either of the oceans or water bodies, you're just paying a little more money.
yeah.
And there's a lot more traffic usually towards the coast and
We're
around
noticing that.
Any big cities, there's lots of traffic, and it's getting more and more. Last year when we left here last year, Santos said that there was 900 and some people a day moving into Florida, and now there's I think up to 1,200 a day moving into Florida.
Wow.
So there's lots of jobs, there's lots of things to do here, and these aren't just snowbirds. These are
permanent, like just
permanent.
increased
So it's
population.
exactly. So everything is getting busier and busier. We've noticed that just in the last 5 years.
So are there places in Florida that you want to explore yet? You've lived here now how many years, and are there places that you haven't seen yet in Florida?
Well, I guess, we were talking about earlier at supper time about going to Key West,
Yes.
place where we haven't gone yet.
Yes, and Wade, they asked us if it was worth it to go to Key West. Wade says yes, it would be worth it. At least once.
And we'd like to go kayaking in Silver Springs.
Oh, yeah.
Homosassa, and a couple of places you guys were up there. Close
Juniper
to
Springs, oh
Juniper
my.
Springs, yeah.
Now we don't know, Juniper Springs looked like they were doing lots of repairs. We don't know if that was hurricane damage or not, but that place had lots of trails closed.
Okay.
So who knows why, but
It was probably from damage, yeah.
it was hard to tell. Thanks for making us feel very welcome here. Thanks for the great supper, and it was good getting in touch again.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
sure was, yeah.
It was good to see you guys. Again, thanks for joining us. I want to remind you to leave a comment. We love to hear your tips about how to do the snowbird lifestyle. Any questions that you might have as well. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so that you can get further notifications of our videos.